What is up, everyone? Welcome to Reality Room Spoilers with Paul, bringing you the latest on Big Brother 21 live feeds. Okay, so I'm going to start straight from the eviction, and then I'm going to work my way up to today with the noms that just happened about an hour ago. Okay, so first off, straight after the eviction happened, we have Jack call a huge house meeting because, we just had David and Ovi come back to the house. I mean, Ovi didn't come back. He stayed in the house. We just had this brand new twist come about, BB come back. So Jack calls a meeting up and he basically says, okay, look, this is just a suggestion. You don't have to follow through with this, but I think it would make sense if we don't talk. And Ovi and David are sitting at the table too, and he's like, I think it's best you guys just don't talk game with people. So it's a more organic return if you guys do come back in 2 weeks, which is, kind of, I mean, no one has really followed this because I've seen multiple people talk game to both Ovi and David in the past few days. So, yeah, I don't know why Jack even bothered saying it because not even people in his own alliance are following that. I know Jackson was talking game to Ovi. Nicole talked game to Ovi. I know David's been talking game to many people in the house in the past couple of days. So, I don't even know. So it's an agreed thing. It's an agreed thing in the house. Everyone raised their hand and said, yeah, we won't talk game to the two of them, but everyone's talking game to them. So it's like this, I don't know, it's total nonsense, basically. And of course, Christy was like totally on board with this too. She's like, yeah, I just think it would just make so much sense. And she's kind of describing to David how like, oh, it was even so hard to get someone out last week because we're all so close in the house. I mean, everyone knows there's lines, I mean, even David could tell in like the past 2 days that there was lines drawn, but we'll get to that. Okay, so Jessica's talking to Kemi. They both agree that this is basically the worst case scenario. Kemi thinks it's going to be her and Kat on the block with Kemi as the target. Their plan is to try to start drama between Jack and maybe one of the other guys in the house. They're kind of betting that the only person that they could possibly do that with is Nick. I've been watching the past couple of days. I haven't really seen them try to do that, so I don't know what they're doing. Like, hey, they agreed to try to pin the target on someone else, and then they just don't. Okay, so I guess that plan's failed. So let's see here. Yeah, and then Bella walks in right when they're talking about that. So they immediately had to change the subject because Bella and Nick are like this. Oh, by the way, if you guys remember from my latest recap, Bella told Nick about the Black Widow alliance, and I was like, oh, if Nick doesn't tell people about this, then they're a legitimate twosome in the house. They're a legitimate pairing. They could go very far, but Nick, of course, tells Sam, and then Sam basically blabs to the rest of the house. So now everyone knows about this girl alliance. So, yeah, I mean, Nick has to keep his mouth shut. Nick has to learn when to take information and zip. And this was even before the eviction, by the way. So it wasn't as if Jack won HOH and he's like, oh, I better save my ass and reveal this girl alliance. No, it was like before the eviction, he told Sam about the girl alliance, for no reason. And then Sam probably blabbed to the rest of the house. So now Jack knows about the girl alliance with Jessica, Nicole, Kemi, and Bella, which Bella isn't really in, apparently. I don't know anymore. It's a whole mess. It's a whole goddamn mess. But yeah, that's out in the open now, and that's basically blown up. And there's repercussions for that for the people in that alliance. And we'll see that. I'll get to that later. So Ovi talks to Nicole, and he's basically saying, hey, what happened with the votes or anything? I know that you and Cliff went to bat for me. Did anyone else really go to bat for me? And Nicole's basically saying, no, it was really just me and Cliff that really wanted you to stay, and that's it. But we couldn't really do anything about it. We tried a little bit. We tried to push, but it didn't really work out. Anyone else that told you they were trying were not. So, that's the Tommy, the Jack, anyone else that said they were not trying to save you. Sorry, Ovi, that's just the way it is. And Ovi was like very like taken aback by that. But at least now he knows, So if he comes back into the game, he knows that he's not in with Jack and the guys. So I don't know. Ovi in 2 weeks, if Ovi comes back, he'll be playing a different game. I can assure you of that. He also said some other things, like for instance, he said he was talking to Cliff, and he says that he believed that Nicole, he believed not Nicole, he believed that Kemi and Jessica did want him out, which is true. People were saying that, oh, Ovi is wrong for not trusting Kemi and Jessica, but they legitimately wanted him out. They had the Girl Alliance, and they wanted to vote out a guy. So people that are saying that, oh, Ovi should be trusting should be trusting Kemi and Jessica are totally in the wrong. The only two people Ovi can trust in the game, and I even tweeted about this, are Nicole and Cliff. I know Nicole's in that Girl Alliance thing, but you can tell that Nicole was trying to go to bat for Ovi, and the only reason why he didn't was because she couldn't really convince her alliance otherwise. So, that's that. Ovi's eyes are open. He knows not to really trust anyone anymore. And he proves that by not even telling anyone else about the power afterwards. So the power is still out there. I'm not sure if he can even use it. I don't think he can. But maybe if he comes back in 2 weeks, he might be able to. So maybe. So Holly and Jackson are talking, and they're kind of discussing the plan for the week. Holly kind of suggests that they do the backdoor Nick plan, which I don't know. I don't know what the hell's up with Holly. She's completely out of the loop, I think, because I mean, there was some discussions last week about Nick and Bella and how they're kind of on the outskirts of the alliance because they're kind of working different sides of the house. And so she's kind of saying, oh, we should backdoor Nick now because Nick's kind of causing trouble at the other side of the house. Like Bella and Nick are, they got to go sooner rather than later. And then Jackson's like, no, we have to keep the 8 strong. We have to do that. We like there's no other option. Like we have to keep the 8 strong. Like Jack winning this HOH is like reassurance that we have to keep it the way that we've been doing it. We can't just be throwing each other on the block and start like a bloodbath, battle royale, if you will. So, and then let's see here. I know Jackson was kind of talking during that conversation between Jackson and Holly. He was kind of saying that what did he say specifically about David? He said that, first off, he said that him and Kat are not going to be a thing. He's got to go talk to her, which he actually did yesterday, and I'll get to. So he's going to talk to Kat about their little showmance, no mans, whatever it is, and he's going to try to put an end to it. He says it's tough because, if it was in real life, he would just be upfront and honest with her, but it's the context of the game now, and he wants to. So he's trying to figure out the best way to handle it. And then he also said some. I think they call David like the evil of the house or something for coming back in. I'm not really sure why. I know that Jackson also got scolded for like saying mean things. I'm guessing specifically about David. Like we've seen a few comments that he made. Like he doesn't trust him at all. He's been saying, he just doesn't trust him at all, basically. And he got yesterday. I guess I'll just get this out of the way now. So yesterday, DR calls him in, and like they basically tell him, "Hey, look, you're making comments. You got to stop because people are not liking it back home," which is something that it's not something that it was outrightly said rather. And so he just comes out of the diary room and he's all like upset or whatever, and he's like, I just got word that people back, I just got word about something in the DR. It doesn't look too good, and he was kind of like upset about it. So he was trying to find, people were like comforting and being like, hey, it's gonna be okay, man. And he's like, yeah, well, I'll find out when we leave, I suppose. So at least he's mindful. Jack, on the other hand, they did the same thing with him. They called him to the DR about comments he was making about like Kemi and a few other house guests, and he didn't really care at all. So Jackson at least has some. at least he's thinking, at least he's like, oh, people back home are not responding well to some of the things I'm saying. Maybe I'm doing something wrong here, All right, so we have a little thing of Ovi talking to Feeds, and he basically says he believes that Nicole was telling the truth about Jack and Tommy. So yeah, Ovi's eyes are open. If he does come back into the game, it won't be the worst thing in the world. He won't be so oblivious. We had some interesting moments with David. David's trying to like push around and talk game with people, and he basically sees that there's like a big alliance in the game. He doesn't like name names or anything, but he can see it, and he's like the only one. Like he's telling people about it. He's like, "Hey, look!" But then everyone just goes running back to like Jackson and Jack and saying, "Yeah, hey, this is what David said." Yada yada yada. I don't know why you don't just keep that to yourself. David could easily be a pocket for you if he came back in. Why would you just run and tattletale basically? He's not even in the game. Like this, anything he tells you is like off. It's like it should be off the record. It's off the record. He's out of the game. He should be able to say what he wants, and you should be able to keep your mouth shut. You shouldn't have to tell people about it. Like there's enough paranoia. Like he's watching from like an outsider's perspective almost, because he just got in like 2 days ago. So we have Jack and Nick talk. This is probably the most important conversation. By the way, Jackson also talked to Holly about how the nom should be Kemi and Jessica, and he says that's probably their best bet. And he actually tells Jack that too. And Jack's like, because Jack was also thinking about the back door with Nick as well, but he's like, but he's kind of like to Jack, no, look, we got to keep the 8 together. That's what we got to do. Like you winning was like proof of this. We can't go making shots at Nick. It's the same conversation Jackson was like having with Holly, and Jack's like, yeah, that makes sense. So Jack and Nick talk, and Nick tells, and they're kind of reassuring each other. Jack's like, hey, look, we're good. Don't worry about it. Kemi's going on the block, and Kemi's going home this week, because Nick's a little worried. He's kind of talking about, because if you remember from previous recaps, he was kind of talking about possibly going after Jack if you want HOH, and that's part of the reason why Kemi and Jessica were talking about possibly throwing Nick under the bus to Jack to maybe make sure that they stay this week. But Jack is reassuring Nick, because Jack already kind of knows that this stuff's going on, that Nick's kind of saying these things around in the house. It's more of a sixth sense thing, but yeah. But yeah, Nick tells Jack Kemi was putting Jackson and Jack on the block. So if Kemi was to have won HOH, which she told the Girl Alliance, and then Bella told Nick that, hey, if Kemi wins HOH, Jack and Jackson are going on the block. And even Nick was telling the Girl Alliance a few days ago, if you remember from my previous recap, that if it was between him and one of the girls, that he would throw it to one of them so that they can get Jack out. But Jack and Nick are basically all good now. So, and Jack and Nick were also talking about, hey, if someone wants to come back into the game, that they would probably want it to be Ovi, because they can control him rather, which isn't true anymore, but they don't know that. And the basic foundation is to stick to the 8, stick to the 8, stick to the 8. And you can tell Nick's worried, because all he's doing is complaining about the comp. He's like, hey, this was supposed to be my comp, man. It was supposed to be my comp, the memory comp, and he was out like second or third round, I think. It was kind of, maybe he's overestimating himself. I don't know. I mean, Jack won. Was that his comp? Jack and Jessica. I don't think, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not your comp, Nick, if you lost, clearly, right? It's not your comp if you lost. Okay, so jumping into the next day, and, noms only happened today, so they didn't happen on the 4th. So Jackson talks to Kat finally has a conversation with Kat about distancing themselves. for his game. For his game. It doesn't say for her game. For his game, he wants to distance themselves. Says they'll still be looking out for one another, but they can't be aligned. Okay, interesting. Kat says she understands and that she's not usually emotional, and that she only was because she was on the block the last 2 weeks, and that's not, and how she was acting the past couple of weeks is not really a true representation of like her personality. It's really it's very exaggerated version, because when you're on the block, and this is just me talking now, when you're on the block, your paranoia goes through the roof. So Kat was extremely paranoid, and she really wore that on her face. Maybe she's not used to being paranoid like that, so maybe that's why she was overtly showing that. But you can tell by Kat's general personality the past couple of days that she's perfectly fine now, unless she goes back on the block, which you never know with Vito, because right now still the plan is to put Kemi and Jessica on the block, and so that's what Jack's planning to do. All right, so we have we had a bunch of July 4th stuff too that kind of happened throughout the day, kind of like a party thing, but it's not really that important to talk about in terms of game. So we have a Gr8ful reunion, and they basically just discuss, hey, look, this is what we're doing this week. We're putting Kemi and Jessica on the block. Kemi is the target. Jack wants to talk to each of them, or I think Kemi actually wants to talk to Jack rather, and then Jack wants to talk to Jessica as well, and he does that the next day. But yeah, the 8 meet together, and they kind of just reassuring each other, yeah, the 8's still good, the 8's still good, and that if Kemi for some reason gets off the block, that Kat would go up in her place, and then Jessica would be the target. So, that's how things are going now. So it's either going to be Kemi or Jessica going home this week, unless some random twist comes up. We have Nick Gr in the chat saying, what's up? What's up, Nick? How you doing, sir? So we have... Sorry, I literally have down in my notes that I already talked about this, but Jackson gets called out by production for his shit talking. Oh, yeah. So then let's get to today. We have Jack and Kemi finally talking. They're both kind of feeling each other out a little bit. Jack actually was talking to some. Well, first, actually, I'll say this first. We have the Whacktivity comp. No one really knows who won the Whacktivity comp at this point. No one's saying it, so it might not be someone in the main alliance for all we know, or if it is, it's someone in the main alliance who has at least watched the show and knows not to tell people when you have a power. So it could very well be like a Tommy or someone like that. There's speculation on who it is, but I'll get to that because that happens after Jack and Kemi talk. So Jack and Kemi have a conversation, and they're basically like, and Kemi's basically like, hey, look, I know I got some weird vibes from you last week. I heard that you were going after me. I heard that you wanted me up on the block, that you wanted me out. So, I didn't really want you to win HOH this week because I was worried that you would be putting me on the block. And Jack basically says, yeah, well, Jack basically says, yeah, I heard from people around the house too that you wanted to go after me as well. And, because of that reason, that's probably why you're an option to go on the block this week. I mean, in Jack's defense, he did want to tell her flat out, but then I think Tommy told Jack, hey, listen, you're not allowed to tell them directly that they're going on the block, unfortunately, so you'll have to find a way to word it. You'll have to find a way to word it properly. But Jack did want to just flat out tell her that, hey, look, this is how it is. I know we're kind of going after each other. And he kind of did allude to that a little bit. He's like, yeah, we're going after each other. Like we both kind of know. And you're an option to go on the block this week. And, that's the way it is. And he even gives her an option to throw someone else under the bus, which she doesn't take. So, good on Kemi, but that was the opportunity to bring up Nick. So, she was probably, although that was, in my opinion, that was Jack baiting Kemi to say something about Nick so that she can go running back to Nick right after. So Kemi kind of probably just avoided a trap there. So that's pretty good on her. So then after there was some speculation about who won the activity comp, and based on and this is just speculation, but Christy's talking to Jack about the body language that Sam was having when they were talking about the comp, and when they flat out asked him like if he won, like he looked away and said no. So everyone's kind of thinking that Sam won, which makes sense because I don't think Sam would tell anyone if he won, which is surprising because he's usually very kind of a blabbermouth. But he's been watching Big Brother long enough that he knows not to tell people when you have a power. And I think it's either Sam or Holly. I think everyone else would have told them. I think Jackson would have said something. Christy would have said something. I don't know. Was Christy playing next week? I don't remember anymore. I think Jackson would have said something. Jack would have said something. And let's see here. Tommy possibly, though he did agree to say something if he did win. So I don't know. It's whatever. So Jack also talks to Jessica, and he's telling her, "Hey, look, you're going up. I want to put you up as a pawn this week. The reason why I'm putting you up is because I heard some whispers about there being a girl alliance in the house, which, as I said earlier, Nick told Sam that about Bella's girl alliance, and then Sam, I believe Sam went running to the rest of the house to blah 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 blah. And there was even a discussion maybe like an hour ago between Nick and Bella about like, hey, well, who told Jack about that alliance? And Nick's like, well, didn't you? And she's like, no, I told him after he heard about it already, because Jessica brought it up, and he's like, oh shit, well maybe it was Sam. And yeah, obviously it was Sam. Why would you tell Sam? You basically threw the other side of the house under the bus. That was the side that was supposed to go after Jack and Jackson for you. Like, come on, that's no common sense. You got to play the middle better, Nick. Jesus Christ. I mean, you basically ruined Bella's game, man. Like, really? Really? That's what he did. He ruined Bella's game. Like, Bella's screwed now. What's she going to do? Jack's not going to trust her as much. And the girl alliance, they kind of suspect that it was Bella that squealed. Like Jessica was even saying, I think it was to Nicole and Kemi. I think it was Bella that squealed, and they're like, yeah, I think you're right. Not looking good. Now, if they can get past this, great. An open alliance sometimes ain't a bad thing, but not usually this early. Oops. Sorry for coughing, guys. So Jack and Jessica, yeah. And then Jessica actually goes downstairs and talks to Annalise and Holly about the conversation that Jack had with her about there being a girl alliance, and she's completely denying it. She's like, you guys kind of know there's no girl alliance. Like, I know we're for girl power or whatever, but I would never start a girl alliance. And she's crying. And then she's also talking to Kat and Nicole about it. And I'm just sitting here confused. Like, I don't know if she's putting on a show because there's other people in the room, but she did start a girls alliance, and she's like, oh, well, there was something, but I didn't start it. Like, what? No, you did start it, honey, you started it. You did start it. Like, you were the one that wanted this big girl thing. And I'm really curious to see what she's going to say on the live feeds. Really, really curious. What's she going to say? It was started by someone else? Oh, I mean, now that you mention it, it was kind of started by Bella a little bit. That specific alliance. That could be can be a play that they make, possibly. We'll see what happens there. So literally, those Kemi and Jessica can throw Bella and Nick under the bus right now because they know they don't have their best interests of heart. Right? I mean, that's probably their best play right now. I mean, Bella and Nick were playing really good games 2 days ago before Nick babbled about the girl alliance to Sam, and it got around the entire house. And now the girl alliance is, one of them is going to leave no matter what, so it doesn't even matter. But ironically, them telling other people about that alliance ruined their games. Their games. Bella and Nick are screwed. Sorry, guys. Bye-bye. In like 2 weeks, people are going to be looking for an excuse to get you out, and they found one. Okay, so yeah, Bella tells Jack about the girl. So yeah, then Bella's covering her ass, and she tells Jack about the Girl Alliance, says it's called Black Widow, says Jessica is in charge, and she throws Jessica under the bus. So I think Bella's trying to do what she did last week, trying to save Kemi by like redirecting the target on someone else, which in this case is Jessica. So she says that Jessica started the alliance, and even that Kemi, Nicole, and her were kind of like really weren't that into it. They were like, girl alliances don't work. They know that, and they're kind of looking at each other. And then it was all Jessica's idea, and it was kind of laughable, basically. So she's covering her ass, which is she's doing what she's got to do. She's got to do damage control. That's just all because she told Nick in a moment of weakness about the Girl Alliance, and then Nick is a blabbermouth and told Sam, and then Sam told everyone, at least one other person who told Jack. So, there's you don't tell anyone anything. I'm more mad at Nick than I am at Bella, because they're a duo. They're a total duo. Disappointed, Nick. Disappointed. You're a fan of the show, dude. You can't keep your mouth shut for 24 hours even? He tells Sam, like, a few hours later, like, what is wrong with you? You don't think it's going to get out? Jesus, man. Jesus. I'm not even mad. No, I am mad. I'm very mad. It's stupid, This shouldn't even be out. An 8-person alliance can stay perfectly intact, but a 4-person, gets revealed in like 10 minutes because Nick's an idiot and doesn't know to keep information to himself. In your pocket. He could have waited even and told Jack himself after he won HOH. Would have looked way better on him. Way better. So much better. All right, guys. So that's up. Oh, I forgot about the noms. Yeah, nomination ceremony happened, and it's Kemi and Jessica on the block, and Jessica's like crying, I didn't try to start a girl alliance, to all the girls in the house that are kind of scratching their heads and like, yeah, you didn't start a girl alliance. Like, even they're confused. Ay. All right, so thank you. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I have my previous recap down below. Along with that, I have the episode 5 recap as well down below. If you guys want to watch that, watch Miranda and I's thoughts on the latest episode, the latest twist. Fun stuff. Highly recommend watching. This has been Reality Room Spoilers with Paul. Until next time, guys. Peace.